Hello and happy Monday. I woke up this morning and I had the thought that I wanted to do a little video message for you all today instead of writing out this big long email because I just have so much to share. And sometimes it's more concise to share it in video. Plus, you get to see me, which I don't often do. And so I thought, what a treat. I'll just record a little video for you all and send that as part of the email today. So happy Monday. I just got back from a week in Dallas at the eWomen Network International Conference. ICON 2022 was the hashtag that we used. And it had been a decade since I had been to one of the big conferences. I generally have been tending to go to the smaller platinum summits, more intimate, smaller, shorter time. But this time I went and I had an amazing time, met a lot of incredible women, and just reconnected with some friendships and business acquaintances that I had already started a relationship with. So that was great. There was a common theme, though, that I kept hearing from people that, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I'm just exhausted. And sometimes you could see it on their face. You could see it in their eyes. You could just see it in their demeanor that they were tired. And it's, it's something kind of normal that happens when you're at a conference because we are sitting there just getting information and content and value poured into us in a really, really good way. Yet our brains are working overtime to process all that information. So, yes, while we might be taking breaks and getting enough sleep at night and resting and doing all the things that we know to do normally for our self care, it's still a lot of added extra work that our brains are doing. So, of course, we're going to feel exhausted and tired and a little bit overwhelmed at times. So, I had to share that with a few of the gals from our Reno chapter that had been there for the first time. It was their first conference, and they were just like, oh my God, I went to bed early last night and I had a late morning, like they slept in a little bit, they're running a little bit slow in that morning. And I said, it's okay to feel that exhaustion and tiredness because it's our brain processing everything that we have been consuming over the last few days. And that brings me to the next thing I want to share with you, and it's this concept of re-entry. I know when I was in mastermind several years ago, we would always talk about this on the last day of our retreat. We would talk about what does re-entry look like, re-entry back into life, back home to our family, back home to our jobs, our team, whatever we left behind to come to this retreat or seminar or event or conference. What does re-entry look like? And it looks like giving yourself time and space and grace to process everything that you went through. Thank the people that were at home, keeping things going, like they held down the fort while you were gone. Thank them, obviously. Give them a little gratitude and appreciation. And then give yourself the grace and the space and the time to process everything that you just learned, all the information that you consumed, the value, the content, the connections. Give yourself time and space and grace to engage with those new relationships, to follow up, to set calls, to get to know people, to set appointments, whatever that looks like for you in your business or life. And then it also kind of leads me into this really exciting thing that happens to me is I got to be on the main stage as one of the speakers for a 4-minute spot. And this was something that I was supposed to do last year, but due to my husband still being in the hospital and COVID and everything, obviously that did not happen. So I got to do that this year. And my talk was entitled The Biggest Rookie Mistake of Entrepreneurs. And I used the analogy of the Indianapolis 500 and how these race car drivers take pit stops so that they can refuel and refresh and finish the race. And it's the same concept with our self-care and these pit stops that we take during the day, especially when we're in re-entry mode, is so critical and crucial. Just time for us to gather ourselves, get regrounded and recentered and connected back to the relationships, our family, our work, our team, school, whatever that looks like for you. Get reconnected to those relationships that we were away from for however long your conference or seminar trip or wherever you were and why ever you were gone, just to reconnect with those people at home who, like I said, held down the fort. So this concept of reentry goes hand in hand with the concept of the pit stop. And some of you may know I have a coaching program called Pit Stops with Pamela, and it's accountability and mapping out what those pit stops look like and getting the support and structure that you need from someone who gets it, who knows that we can't just spin and go round and round and round the track without burning out. So if that's something that is piquing your interest right now, just feel free to reach out or check it out, pitstopswithpamela.com. But I wanted to just reiterate this concept of taking time, giving yourself permission to rest, giving yourself permission to recharge. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's a whole day. It doesn't mean that it's, 6 hours or 2 hours, but it's little pockets of time during your day where you can do a little pit stop. These Indy 500 drivers, their pit stops are between 6 and 10 seconds. They're quick, they're fast, they're purposeful, they're efficient, they're frequent. So that's what we get to do during our day with our pit stops, especially as we are going through this re-entry after coming off of a conference like I was just in Dallas for. So that's the message I wanted to share with you. I hope that you took a little value out of that. And if you want to know more about the coaching that I do, retreats that I have coming up, I do still have some spots for my Mexico retreat, which is March 11th to the 18th in just outside of Cabo, Mexico. You can probably hear the dog barking outside. Sorry about that. That's what happens when we work at home. So you can reach out to me if you want to know more, or click the link in the PS to this email. And there's also a link to check out Pit Stops. There's also a link to check out the amazing other tools that I have with my health and wellness products that I represent. One of which is a Drop for Energy, which I was giving out a lot of in Dallas this week. So that's my message to you. Permission to pause, permission to take a pit stop. If you're coming off of something big, give yourself time, grace, and space for that re-entry. Have appreciation for those who held down the fort while you were gone, and go make it a great week. Remember, self-care isn't selfish, it's essential.